listening to Convenience Matters, brought to you by Nax. We'll talk about what we see at stores and what the future may hold for our industry.
Do you remember cutting coupons from the Sunday newspaper? They were highly inefficient to process, and you really didn't know anything about the customer. All they got was a discount. Now, this isn't a look back at the olden days. This is a look forward because digital coupons changed that, and they're already in use in our industry. So we're going to talk about digital coupons today, what the present holds for us, and as the intro says, and what the future may hold for us. And joining us today for the conversation is Sam Jonas. He is CEO and co-founder of nData Services. He also calls himself a serial entrepreneur, so he's been around the block in our industry. Thanks for joining us today, Sam.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to your listeners. To you and your listeners.
We know that there's upwards of 200 billion coupons issued every single year in this country. Very few are used in our channel, and very few are digital. Before we get into the digital elements, do you want to just kind of take us through how coupons work currently in terms of their print version, and what are the opportunities here with the new digital coupons? Big question.
Well, the paper coupon business is like 90 years old, going back to the 1930s, S&H green stamps, et cetera. What I think will surprise your listeners is that of the, billions and billions of coupons issued every year, over 80% are still paper. And so the fact of the matter is that paper is, labor intensive, very inefficient. It takes a long time for the retailer to be paid. In some cases, it slows down the line, or there's the perception of that it does. And when you use your app for a digital coupon or any sort of a digital presentation like that represents less than 20% of the market. Paper is still the overwhelming medium for the delivery of coupons.
The other thing with print is fraud. Fraud can run rampant in these because they're not single use when you're talking about print. And that's the big difference between that and digital, right? Another big difference.
Absolutely. And the barcodes that you see on paper coupons have been around for about 30 years. That was a revolutionary development when that came out. And it's been a workhorse, those older barcodes. And the fact is that because they've been around, the fraudsters have figured out how to, reproduce them, right? And be able to, they create fraud that's in the range of $300 to $600 million in losses per year. And so now we're moving towards a new digital standard for coupons called the 8112. That's fully serialized, single-use, fraud-free, and because it's all digital, instead retailers can get paid much faster. Instead of having to wait weeks or even months, they can be paid in less than 2 weeks or so.
And when you talk about digital coupons, now first off, 8112, it's not the title of a Van Halen album from the 90s. This is different, although there are 4 numbers there in that one too, I think. But whether or not you know you're using digital coupons, you probably already are. And I think from my examples, if you go to somebody's website and it's like download our coupon this week, which is basically the circular, and you get 15% on your first item or something like that, whatever it is, a big box, grocery, there already are some applications there. But how might people see digital coupons in their universe right now as a consumer and really not even know it?
Well, the example you just gave is kind of print at home, which is a paper version of a digital coupon. And that was considered an advancement 10 or 20 years ago when they were able to do that because, of course, internet connectivity became more common. When we talk about digital coupons, we're talking about digital coupons that are delivered through all digital channels, right? So in the case of coupons you get through the loyalty program at your local convenience store or your local grocery store, Those are digital coupons that are pushed to the mobile app, and then you present them at the store. As I said, that represents a very small slice of the market. You still have tens of hundreds or over 100 billion paper coupons a year, very inefficient. And the CPGs, which stands for, as your listeners know, consumer product groups, the manufacturers want to convert those those paper coupons to digital. And this new standard that we're talking about, the 8112, is the technology platform that will be used for converting somewhere between probably 70 to 90% of those remaining paper coupons to digital over the next few years. And remember, because these coupons have been paper, right? They've been designed to be distributed, outside of loyalty programs, outside of the loyalty program your convenience store or grocery might have. So these are what people call free range coupons, and they will not be inside of loyalty programs per se. So you have digital wallets emerging, like one that we work with called Coupon 24, where you can store these 8112s, which represent paper coupons being converted to digital, and the CPGs are, putting together the ability to be able to distribute these through digital channels. Think a QR code on Facebook, think a QR code on Instagram or on web pages. At the same time, they can be delivered through loyalty programs, so they can work both with loyalty and outside of loyalty.
I'm guessing this is how they came up with the name 8112s. Before that, there were probably 8111s and 8110s or something like that. It feels like a programmer's type name where just a new iteration is just a higher number. Is that how the name came about?
That is correct. It's kind of a, techie wonky kind of thing where over the years, the industry, the coupon industry, led by the associations like the Association for Coupon Professionals, and et cetera, they've created these technology standards for different iterations of coupons. And in fact, the previous iteration was known as the 8110. You get the gold star of the day for that. And it was the 8110 that was the workhorse, but because it had been around so long and the barcodes and how to create the barcodes became so familiar, and it created fraud. The industry players, they realized that they needed a new standard. They've been working on the 8112 for 5 years, leading CPGs like Procter & Gamble, General Mills, have all been very active. Kellogg's, they've all been very active in developing the 8112, and it's just coming to market right now. And what makes it such an interesting opportunity for this convenience vertical is that the C-store industry has not had a lot of couponing over the years for a lot of reasons that we're all familiar with, right? C-stores are designed to be fast-paced, high turnover. Historically, they had a more limited item file, snacks, drinks, gasoline, those kinds of things. And so there wasn't really a lot of couponing, both in terms of the available products, as well as in terms of kind of the store format and the way that they operated, meaning that quick turnover, et cetera. Now, convenience, the reason that this is a good time to bring couponing into the convenience vertical is because the changes that the convenience vertical is going through, right? The demand for liquid fuels is decreasing because of electric vehicles, EVs, as well as because of fuel standards. So a lot of convenience stores are expanding their food service options, both hot food service as well as strengthening center of store with more food-oriented items. All of those things, all of these changes create opportunities to now bring couponing into the C-store industry. And NACS has looked at this and said, this is the perfect time to expand digital promotion opportunities. 8112 is a very efficient way of doing it. It's all mobile. It's all digital. The retailer gets paid faster. And of course, because item files are expanding and in-store services are expanding, here's the opportunity to introduce this new digital promotional medium to be able to help retailers increase, sales and profit.
And I think you hit upon all the reasons why print coupons aren't effective, and why digital could be. That they are a pain. That they junk up the cash register. There's not the same slot. They kind of float around. It slows down lines, and we're known for speed of service. It also, we tend to sell impulse items, so you're probably coming in there with your idea of what you want to do already. So digital kind of changes all those, because you can even incent somebody on site, is from what I understand, with these QR codes in stores, or it's even already being done, where you don't have to, olden days scissors. I also remember those book of stamps that my parents gave me a couple pennies if I could lick all of them, because they didn't want to lick them all. And so it takes away all that hassle, but it also presents opportunity where if you're walking in the store and it's like, oh, that has a discount, that might be what I want to do now. So can you talk about how that might work, or does work, on the store level outside of the wallet?
Yeah, absolutely. The ability to discover these 8112s will actually be both digital and analog. So to your point, you can hang a QR code on a shelf talker or a dangler from the roof that says, $2 off your box of Chester fried chicken or whatever the offering might be in the store. And you don't have to be a member of the loyalty program to get that discount, right? Talking about an impulse buy, somebody who's not a member of your loyalty program comes in, they see that QR code, they go, oh, wow, yeah, this is great. They snap that with their camera, they've got that offer on their phone, they're then able to redeem it. And the retailer has a sale that they might not otherwise have had, because they could, capture that sale right there in an impulse manner by using that analog method for delivering the offer to the consumer. At the same time, being able to use your social media or web channels to be able to deliver 8112s is also a very efficient way to reach a lot of people out in the consumer universe and bring them into your store. In the same sense, a lot of stations now are adding these high-res screens on their gas pumps. So think about pushing an 8112 QR code out to the pump for that $2 discount on the Chester fried chicken dinner meal deal. And they go, oh, wow, okay, here's my dinner right here, or whatever it happens to be. And suddenly that consumer, that gas buyer that wasn't planning to come into the store is now coming in.
And I imagine that also has the opportunity for customization, because if I'm using a loyalty card or something where they know me and they know Jeff likes pizza more than he likes chicken, and Jeff's talking third person, the offer can be customized, and you don't have to worry about those pump toppers that are there for a month in print. It can change by the customer, even by day part, and can greatly enhance the ability to, as we deal now with inflation's lower, but people are still stressed and they're looking for value. That price is always nice, but value. And when you tie in all this, all of a sudden that fill up became a whole lot more interesting, because now I can go inside the store and they know what I want. Is that the future, or is that the present with 8112s?
That's actually part of the 8112 program. So the fact is that even when it's not tied to a loyalty program, if you use the application on the Coupon 24 wallet that we have to redeem different items, we can provide targeted messaging to those consumers based upon the preferences and the choices that they've made in the past. So we're able to get some of those very beneficial elements of personalization to be able to target that consumer and bring them in the store based upon previous purchases and behavior.
So when you say we, you're talking about your company nData. and there's others out there.
Absolutely.
And Axe is working with you guys in how do we do this the best way possible within our channel, because we just see all these opportunities. Now, this is not science fiction. This is happening right now, and there's actually tests at a few stores of going the next level with this, beyond some of the rudimentary things we've been talking about, to whatever we want to call it, 8112 V2 for the convenience to our channel. Can you talk a little bit about what this evolution is right now in the testing?
Right now, we are coming live on what I call the big three point of sale systems: Gilbarco's Passport, Verifone's Commander, and NCR's RPOS. And your listeners will know that represents about 85% of the total installs in the convenience store market. And we are zeroing in on some of the smaller point of sale systems also. We are live in quite a few stores, in grocery and in independent drug, and have been for a few months. So we're developing a lot of really good learnings, working closely with CPGs like Procter & Gamble and Unilever, Bayer, Nestle's. We've done pilots with those organizations. And I got to give a real kudos to NACS here, because NACS is really driving the creation of this ecosystem. They've added staff that's going to allow them to speak directly to the CPGs and encourage them to begin to issue their coupons as 8112s. And then they also have other staff that are out in the field or in communications with retailers, helping educate them. And then, of course, because of nData's experience in the market already with this product and working directly with the CPGs, we can bring that kind of expertise directly to the retailer to guide them through, bringing their store live, whether they're Commander, Passport, RPOS, whatever it happens to be, but then also help them, pair CPG offers to their item file, or look at their food service offering and say, okay, let's take this. You've got a PLU system identifying these items. Let's bring this into the 8112 world, create QR codes and barcodes that represent those PLUs, and do that discount for, the Chester Fried Chicken or the Hunt Brothers Pizza, or maybe some, custom application burritos, or tandoori dishes. Or there's so many amazing foods that are served at convenience stores that represent both the tastes of the shoppers and the taste of the owners, which is one of the things that's really great about the C-store industry, right? It touches 160 million transactions a day, and 100 million of those transactions per day are inside. They're touching, tens and tens of millions of consumers every single day. And those consumers have a wide variety of tastes. The stores sell a wide variety of products. And think about being able to create a campaign, for your fried chicken or your pizza or your, tandoori chicken or whatever you happen to be selling, and knowing that those offers that you can push directly to people's phones are single use, serialized, fraud-free, and you can say, I want to run this just for a week, or I want to do a maximum of 1,000 redemptions, or whatever it has to be, and be able to control that budget and control that cycle very tightly.
Well, I learned to not do a podcast with you before lunch, because you've talked a lot about food, and I'm pretty hungry right now. But you mentioned food a couple times, and just the opportunity that presents, tying that to something you said earlier about EVs and the connected car. EVs, or basically all vehicles, are kind of computers with wheels now, and they happen to take you somewhere. But it really, as we look at the evolution of vehicles and the change in how they're fueled, this is also another opportunity for digital coupons to talk to somebody while they're waiting for 20 minutes, a half hour for that charge, make them hungry as I am right now for Indian food of all things. So thank you.
Right. Well, and you bring up a couple of really interesting points, and I was giving kudos to NACS, and I also have to give some kudos to Connexus, the technology standards organization connected to NACS, because they see the future and they know that the technology developments going on in cars are going to allow cars to speak to their drivers and then connect those cars to retailers who can serve to those drivers what they may be looking for. Everything from, a quart size of smart water to that tandoori chicken that seems to have gotten
Mm-hmm.
your attention, right? So NACS calls that connected car commerce. So think about driving down the road and saying, hey, Siri, where can I buy a 6-pack of Coors Light, or where can I buy a quart of Smart Water, or where can I buy, tandoori chicken or Chester fried chicken or whatever it happens to be. And Siri will come back and say, there's a convenience store up here a quarter mile on the left, and it has these products. And oh, by the way, here happens to be a QR code for a discount on this product or that. NACS and Connexus call that connected car commerce. It is here today because, many of your listeners will know that, cars already have these consoles where you can do, audio requests of the Siri. And NACS is active in indexing. They have a project called Project Search with Thriver, which the listeners may be familiar with from the NACS show, where they're indexing all of the convenience stores across the country, and they're going to be updating the search engines so that those stores, when people are asking, where can I buy this or that, those stores are going to pop up in that search. And then, of course, we intend to layer on 8112 to supply a coupon to make sure that they stop at that store and maybe not go, well, I'll buy the smart water at the Kroger that's a half a mile farther or whatever. So you can create that consumer demand. And regarding EVs, many, of course, drivers are going to say, hey, where can I find an EV charger? And so connected car commerce will lead them to an EV charger. And then they can spend that time. Then, it's not going to be 5 minutes in and out buying $10 or 10 gallons worth of gas. It's going to be 15 to 30 minutes charging your car. And that'll be an opportunity to, push a coupon to the consumer that's waiting for their EV to be charged and draw them into the store.
So just thinking about how fast the future can come. In 2019, we had our Convenience Summit in Convenience Summit Asia in Shanghai. So about 5 years ago. And this before the pandemic. And so you always forget about those couple of years. But one of the things is we went to a cafe and they had QR codes on the table. And you pull up the menu and you order. And then this person magically knows what your table is and brings your food exactly to that table. And when we experienced that, it was just, this is the future. This is unbelievable. And then the pandemic happened and everyone was using QR codes. Now, it wasn't because of the pandemic that probably pushed things a little faster, but it was there, it was ready, it launched. And now more often than not, if you go out to a place, they have paper menus and they also have those QR codes where, okay, order your food, pay for your food, do it all there. So this is not, as this is already in stores, it's going to accelerate. And the question is, do you want to be part of the future or do you want to watch other people be a part of the future? And I don't think there's going to be a whole lot in the way of downside to being part of this future.
Absolutely. I mean, you can use these QR codes transactionally, like as a discount for products. You can use them informationally. This is very much, the future, if you will. And the future is now. It's not one of those things that's a year from now or 5 years from now or 10 years from now. I want to add one other thing about this kind of these transitions, right? We're talking about convenience stores in transition and opportunities to use these digital promotions like 8112. But grocery in general is in transition. We all know that a lot of big box grocers, the Safeways and the Krogers of the world, they're closing stores, right? They're facing online competition. They're leaving lower income communities as food deserts, things like that. And convenience stores at the same time are expanding their food offering to serve these consumers. And many of these consumers, of course, they might be on SNAP. They might have other sources of income, food income, if you will, that the convenience store owners want to be able to capture. So being able to offer discounts for food items, whether it happens to be hot food items or whether it happens to be center of store, canned goods, bread, reach in coolers with eggs, meat, those kinds of things that you start to see stores adding more. Again, this creates opportunity for using these digital promotions to be able to pull in these shoppers where transportation may be an issue. Getting to a Kroger or a Walmart may not be, easy. And you can promote these items and then capture these consumers who can't access a grocery store, and they'll spend their dollars in the store. And you can use these promotions to be able to capture that consumer
in
spending.
some conversations with some health-related organizations that we work with, they're very excited about the whole concept of digital coupons and 8112s. We're going to have you on again and talk about a lot more things that are related to the future. I want to talk more about delivery and some other things. But first, a lightning round question. Will
Sure.
digital coupons get rid of those 6-foot-long CVS coupons?
Well, that's up to CVS, okay? But I will say that these coupons or this digital presentation, because it can be on a shelf talker, right? Or a dangler or on a web page or on Instagram, whatever it happens to be, it can also be on a receipt. So you can use that space as a convenience retailer. You can, use your receipt as a bounce back coupon and know it's single use, serialized, and fraud free.
So NACS has been working in the 8112/digital coupon space for a bit. There's been some things in NACS Daily and in NACS Magazine where we're putting together stuff online, but they're really difficult to find out a little bit more right now as it stands. Any suggestions on where listeners may go to learn a little bit more about digital coupons?
Well, we'd love them to start by going to nDataServices.com. That's the letter N and then DATA services.com. And then NACS and Connexus do have some resources. Anybody who wants to learn more can go to nDataServices.com. There's a, learn more, document that they can fill out. Let us know that you heard about it on Jeff Lenard's podcast.
Not my podcast. It's NACS's podcast.
Well, yes, but you're the moderator and you're the media personality, and you get credit for that, Jeff.
But I also get blamed if things aren't going well, so that's why I try to also distance myself.
Well, hopefully this conversation is going to get you some credit. So I'll leave that to the other issues to other conversations. But no, this has been a great conversation, and thanks for your time. But no, seriously, if they go to the website, put in a request for information, we will source not only the information that we have, but we'll source as much information as we can directly from NACS for things like Thriver, the project search effort, and other things like this that are going to help drive the value of the 8112 conversion.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly we've entered this digital revolution, and this is happening now. The taste of those old green stamps is further and further in my memory, and I look forward to the QR codes and finding discounts going in stores. I think it's probably time for me to grab lunch now, given the discussion on food. So I want to thank you, Sam. This was a really good conversation, and the future is here. It is not coming. It is here, and there's a lot to be excited about what our industry can do. So thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. We're excited to be part of it, excited to work with NACS, and thank you for having me on.
And thank you all for listening to Convenience Matters.
Convenience Matters is brought to you by NACS and produced in partnership with Human Factor. For more information, visit convenience.org.